not wait for Venus because I was late and then he became MIA and I don't know how long it will be if I'm gonna wait for him. So here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna start reading chapter 3 of I Systems first while waiting for him to appear. So I did send him an email. I said, if he is back, let me know. I will be checking out on second screen over there, right? In case he comes back, and if he don't, then I'm just gonna continue without him. He's just gonna show his face here, like right at the bottom. Can you see that? Right? Okay. So the reason for my stream that was late earlier. Oh shit! Wait. Alright, can you guys hear me now? I'm so sorry. I forgot that I actually had the volume up for music. Hold on, let me just adjust this shit. Ah. Sorry for being so scuffed. Okay, wait, let me just repeat what I said in case it got drowned out. Right, so Venus is presently MIA. I was late because I had a different stream earlier on today. I'm not gonna like explain the details of what streaming is like, but anyways, if you want to check out the stream that I did, it was about vocal lessons. I was basically learning how to sing and like consulting Re-sensei for my voice problems because I'm like doing a cover on my second channel. It is yeah, it is what it is, man. But anyways, today without further ado, for all the people who joined for IHS and are watching VODs, this is gonna be it. So I'm gonna be reading the 3rd chapter of I Hate Systems. This is the cover that he has, right? There's a red version which you'll see next week when I read chapter 4, and then Venus, if he manages to join today, will do reactions. If he doesn't manage to join today, then I'll just end the stream as usual. But here we go. Chapter 3, Partial Truth. As the monster inched closer, about to bite Compass' carburetor, it uttered, taking joy out of the situation. Don't worry, I'm not done with Earth yet. As you have mysteriously disappeared, your company would turn chaotic. All the board of directors would fight to reap benefits for themselves. As for your daughter, Stencil, she would be tossed aside. What can an 8-year-old child do in such a situation? Haha. Its teeth touched the back of Compass' carburetor, piercing mildly through the skin. Looking at the thin stream exiting his back, it hadn't fully left his body yet, so it was waiting until the process was done before it devoured him. In the meantime, he wished to reel himself up to the maximum, taking advantage of his helpless state. And when Stencil is tossed aside on the street, I would enter her. I would fuel her revenge and make her vow to destroy your company, to get back on the people that had cast her aside from her home. And when she eventually succeeds, I'll repeat the same formula. Ha ha ha! It's snickered. And you won't be alive to see that. But if the reincarnation system grabs hold of your soul, you might get a chance to be born on Earth once again and see how much your daughter suffers. Right, so that was the system itself, being a dick, basically. But yes, I can see how this works. This is like MLM, no? Multi-level marketing schemes, the Ponzo scam, you name it. Right, I'll kill you! Compass' carburetor gritted his teeth as his orifices bled from his exertion. He tried to move his hand, but he failed to do so as the flow of the money-making system's body exiting him left him brutally weak and immobile. So basically, this is like the typical Chinese "I'm gonna puke blood if you say more" kind of scene. Kill me! Upon hearing his shout, it laughed as its tongue shot out and slapped his face non-stop. You can't! You can't! You can't! It's impossible for you! Any living being can never hope to go against the system. We are called plot armors for a reason, and everything is written in exclamation mark. Venus, damn you! Gah! Compass' carburetor tried his best to resist, but the stench emanating from the monster's mouth further weakened him, making him wish to puke its guts out. He could feel the pain as the teeth of the monster was slowly sinking back into his back. Alright, so he has teeth, it bites, and it literally bites him in the back. So yeah, that is really beautiful, by the way. Any second, once its body fully escapes him, it would devour him. Quick, reach it! He mentally bellowed, inching his hand towards his holster. Even though he was barely able to inch his hand forth, it meant the monster had almost finished exiting his body. Any moment, and he might be shredded apart and devoured. So he's giving birth to a monster that's about to eat him, and he has a new gun that he got from like what, chapter 1 or chapter 2, and he's gonna use it to shoot. Right at this time, there was a flash of motion blur before the flow exiting his body was severed. A second later, the monster began to scream in pain and flailed on the ground, quickly jumping backwards as it increased the distance. The moment the connection was severed, the remainder of its body that was heading up retreated into his body. Oh my god, what the fuck? Alright, so basically it's like he's trying to get out of like the birthing process, and then before the umbilical cord was cut, he was like, oh nope, I'm gonna go back in and like, you know, take refuge back in the womb. That's so disturbing, oh my god. Compass Carburetor was able to move now. Reaching his hand to his gun, he pulled it out and aimed it at the monster, making a shot. Alright. The bullet landed on the side of the monster's coin face, spilling out blood in the process, causing it to scream in shock. How is this possible? A mortal cannot injure a system. Okay, so wait. Maybe I was wrong? Hold on. A second later, the monster... Okay. Right, so... Hitting out is what it was hitting that retreated into his body. Okay, I'm not sure what's going on here. Venus has to do a little bit of explaining if he comes on today. Otherwise, I'll just like go through this again next week. Okay, so without speaking any nonsense, Compass Carburetor aimed at the center of its face, shooting again. But this time, it had reacted the moment his hand moved, dodging the attack as it hit behind a tree. Where did the tree come from? I'm so confused. Just when it tried to retaliate, it shuddered, sensing danger, hurriedly dodging backwards as the tree it was hiding behind experienced a motion blur before it crumbled into pieces. Oh right, okay, so this is like an imaginary space of everything that doesn't really have any sense and no world building or whatsoever, so I'm very confused, but this is Venus's work. I don't like it in the first place, but yeah, well, this is my batsu, so I'm doing it. Right, is some system targeting my... Wait, what? Is some system targeting me now? Damn it! It gazed at Compass Carburetor once, shouting, "You managed to live, but I will host your daughter now." Alright, first and foremost, that sounds very wrong. Secondly, if the system is as old as I think it is, that's pedophile. Because the daughter is like, what, 8? And you're hosting the daughter. Like, why are you entering his daughter when she's like, you know, like a child? That is so wrong on so many levels. There are 5 paragraph comments, okay, and they're all just dissing the system, right? Nobody's talking about how wrong this sounds like, okay. Saying so, it expended most of its accumulated energy, vanishing from the system world, returning to Earth. It scoured through the Earth, quickly finding Stencil as it seeped into her body without alerting her, which is kinda strange because how else would Stencil actually know what to do with the system? It then rested within, focusing on healing its injuries first as it inspected if its capabilities were still functional and if it had lost any. Thankfully, all my core abilities are still with me. Only the portion related to the physic part had been left behind. Whatever, they're just useless supplementary abilities anyways, so thankfully I didn't suffer much of a loss. Right, so the physic one is actually... Okay, so that's why the system had a body, because it like stole all the physical abilities from the skills that it granted to its host. Makes more sense now, a little bit more sense. It then turned silent, looking at the world from within the body of Stencil. So now head chopping, back in the system world, Compass Carburetor roared in anger upon seeing the figure of the money-making system vanish. He shot the place he had been standing upon, screaming in anger upon seeing that nothing had happened. Don't you dare touch my daughter! Relax, don't lose your cool. A voice resounded from behind him as Compass Carburetor turned around in alarm, pointing his gun in the direction of the sound. There wasn't anyone in place. Then he noticed a shadow in the thicket of trees that was slowly approaching him. Soon after, a figure exited the thicket of trees. Soon after, a figure exited the thicket of trees, looking at Compass Carburetor as it spoke. If you shout too much, you might garner the attention of a higher grade system. If that happens, the both of us will die. Okay, so it's like another system. It was a humanoid individual, and judging based on its appearance, the Compass Carburetor attributed it to be a demon. A demon? Sure, that works. We'll call that in many roles, the demon added. Compass Carburetor then noticed the sword it's holding, recalling the slash that had severed his connection with the money-making system, allowing him to move and save himself. Thank you for saving me. Alright, first and foremost, now I understand what happened. So it wasn't as if he squirmed back into his body, it's like he hasn't fully hatched, but the umbilical cord was like cut. So the remaining umbilical cord is still remaining with Compass Carburetor. And anyways, the second thing that's wrong with you, you never thank a demon. Like that's just naive and like foolish on so many levels, but yes. And then the demon was like, so you are smart enough to understand that. That saves me a lot of time and effort. The demon nodded, introducing himself. Call me 4, as in like the number 4. I am the same as you, a system survivor. Right! Okay, so like, the systems are like the devils themselves who eat their contracted humans, and then the system survivors are like Compass Carburetor. So they hunt the systems and like do something else. I have no idea, but this is where it starts getting interesting, like humans and system, but the system made the humans also a kind of system on its own. So where exactly does the system originate from? That's the question, right? System survivor Compass Carburetor wiped the blood on his face and stood up, dusting himself a little as he inquired. Even though he asked the question, his mind was fully on trying to find a way to return to Earth and save his daughter. The demon named Forth realized after seeing his facial expression, sheathing its sword as it spoke. Don't worry, there is a lot of time before your daughter might come under harm. I'll guide you through a possible solution to save her life. But first, let me explain the state of things to you further. That system had only spoken partial truth. Like all other Venus novels, I guess this is what it is. Right, so and then it ends on a cliffhanger and there are like 3 paragraphs here. So yeah, we have some people who are smart and they are like, bro, learn your lesson. Bro hasn't learned his lesson yet. Yes, there's a reason why Compass Carburetor had a system, because he wasn't like a main character, he was made the main character. So if you guys were actually expecting something on, yeah, you have something ongoing as well. Compass Carburetor, what are we gonna do with you? So yes, I'm looking through like the chapter comments. There is a lot of, yeah, there is like debated topics. Like some people love it, some people hate it. This is like the turning point of it. But as you can see, Venus likes writing characters who are very predictable in a sense, whereby they don't learn their lessons, they don't change, but his world building and everything, you can see where the pieces are coming back together, right? So that's all for chapter 3. Venus is still not here, so yeah, I don't know what is going on his side. But I'm just gonna end the stream today. It's kind of short and I'm kind of busy, so that's all. Thank you all for joining. I will see you guys again next week. Hopefully Venus and I will have a more collaborated schedule. Like yeah, I'm trying to get this time, but at the same time I have no idea because my schedule is like all over the place, right? So yes, I will be going back to my editing and my writing. I still have a lot of things to do today. It's supposed to be my off day, but I am so busy. I woke up early for an alarm because of a collab with USA, like, you know, people from America and the time zone things. But yeah, so many things happen. I am frustrated, not gonna lie. But yes, I will still continue this next week. Hopefully whatever questions that you have left, you will save them and then ask me in Venus next week. So that's all for me today. Thank you all for joining. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.